Now we're getting into business strategic planning. So many people want to jump to that. So many of you want to jump to those business strategic plans. How do we get a bigger margin? How do we get a better profit margin? How do we get greater volume? It comes from producing a better product. Hey everybody, welcome back to our part 2 of our motivational series, and I am here to explain to you and have a conversation actually with you regarding the infinite game. So first, let me explain it. So often we get into private practice and we're just having a great time being physical therapists. And I hope this really connects with you, because when I graduated PT school, for the first 5 years out of PT school, all I wanted to be is the best physical therapist I could be. All I wanted to do is take as many Con Ed and manual therapy courses as possible, because I wanted my knowledge and my skills between what I knew and how to do it to make a significant impact in the lives of others. As a matter of fact, that was the number one main reason why I became a physical therapist, was to try and challenge myself to help as many people as possible live their life in optimal health and to give as great amount of care as possible with each and every engagement. I don't know how you guys feel as physical therapists, but when I'm treating a patient and I'm in a treatment room, I feel blessed and honored that they chose our practice. They chose me as their clinician because they have many, many choices. They have many, many other alternatives to go to, many more options to have, more today than ever before. And the fact that they're spending their time here with me always meant a lot to me to want to elevate my game and practice at the absolute top of my license. If that indicates to you, then that should be the message you're sending to your clinicians when you opened up your private practice. Because I carried that philosophy as a treating therapist, I carried that philosophy as a clinical director, I also carried that philosophy into private practice, saying I want to create a practice with a company culture where I have 10 of me, 15 of me, 18 of me who feel and share that same passion and that same desire to have the greatest impact with as many people as possible. That's why we became physical therapists. It was never to become rich or, buy a bigger boat, any of those kinds of things. If you're watching this YouTube video and you're listening to my podcast or watching other YouTube things that I put out or on any of my social media platforms, I think the underlining message that you'll get from listening and engaging with Meg, Management Expansion Group, our company, whether it's through billing, credentialing, virtual front desk, or coaching, or marketing and website design, any of those 4 services that are, I guess that's 5 services that we provide, it's because of this underlining philosophy that we have to give more in value than we expect in return. We have to exchange in abundance, a level 4 exchange, an exchange in abundance with each and every single person that we engage with, and each and every employee that comes in and spends their time working under our roof or within our organization. That is so vitally important. And when you care about that to your core, it is really felt by all of your staff and all of your patients and those in your community. So starting there with that core philosophy and that real strong purpose in mind, that takes us to our next part of our conversation. Now we know what our purpose is, and we know we mean it, and we know we advance it. So the next thing we have to do is create a company structure that promotes it. And that company structure has to be extremely organized, extremely efficient, consistent, and equipped with standard operating procedures so that things aren't, things aren't open to people taking the liberty to manipulate, change, alter, modify. Everyone who comes to your practice deserves the same high level quality of care, regardless of who the clinician is that's working there. And that's what your standard operating procedures do. They keep the rules of the road intact. They are the driving handbook for how we're all supposed to drive on the road here in America, and if you have your driver's license. It is synonymous to me in such a strong manner that when you survey young therapists today, they are craving that degree of organization, that degree of structure, that degree of systematization, that degree of efficiency and productivity. But what they're also craving is that degree of uniqueness and autonomy and the ability to practice their craft the way they feel they can have the greatest impact and benefit. So just like my car analogy, if you have the right purpose, like I'm truly blessed to treat as many people as I can and trying to get them to achieve optimum health, I have a 5-division organizational structure that affords me the platform of standard operating procedures and policies and procedures for the rule of the road of how we're all going to behave and how we all conduct ourselves so that we're operating at the top of our license. If I have that in place, then it's just like getting that driver's handbook. We all read the same rules. We're all abiding by the same rules. We're not crossing double yellow lines. We're not, running red lights. We are all behaving and operating in a very consistent, organized, very agreed upon manner, but we're driving different color cars. We're having different music in our cars. We have different kinds of seats. Some of them have leather, some of them have cloth. That individualism, that autonomy, that uniqueness. Sometimes we have Jersey Fridays. Sometimes we have, Pizza Wednesdays. These things are what create a company culture of balance. Once you have that company culture of balance, you can put in individual engagement, like 10-minute meetings once a month with every single staff member. Just let them talk about them. You can put in gamification, like there's games that you're playing with your staff on a monthly basis. Whoever wins. They get Starbucks gift cards. They get, a half a day off on Friday or whatever you want to work out. You're doing staff and patient holidays. You're doing holiday games on a regular basis. There's almost a holiday every single month. So now you're creating that energy. You're creating that energy that lies on top of that structure, the standard operating procedures, and of course that level of organization. If you have that, then you should be looking forward, right? Now you got headlights on in your car, you're looking down the street and around the corner, and this is where the infinite game comes in play. And this is my best way of explaining it to you. The most successful PT owners in private practice that I've ever seen are not the ones who are trying to make the most money. I'm going to say that one again. The most successful PT owners in America are not the ones who are trying to make the most money. They are the therapists who are trying to create the best game. They're trying to play the best game that they can within this profession, and they're trying to do it with the greatest number of people who are deserving to be on their team, who are deserving to wear their jersey, who have loyalty and commitment and support to them, who flow power to power, and they in turn flow it back and create an organizational self-fulfilling prophecy where the people are winning, the patients are winning, the staff is winning, the practice is winning, the owner is winning, back down to the patients are winning, the staff is winning, the practice is winning, the owner is winning, and back down. That is the infinite game. It is this constant water fountain. The water shoots up, it showers down, refills the pond, goes back into the pump, shoots back up, waters down, and the pond just gets bigger and bigger and bigger over time because you're adding more and more components to it. Either more income verticals through multiple disciplines or more cash-based services, or you're ditching your low-paying services. Now we're getting into logistics. Now we're getting into organizational operations. Now we're getting into business strategic planning. But so many people want to jump to that. So many of you want to jump to those business strategic plans. How do we get a bigger margin? How do we get a better profit margin? How do we get greater volume? It comes from producing a better product. It comes from creating a better company culture. It comes from a more positive patient care experience. More now than ever before, playing that infinite game is saying, we're going to win this year, and we're going to grow in winnings by 15 to 20% again next year. And we're going to find ways to play that game again the year after that and grow by another 15 to 20% and have fun and do that. And then we're going to find ways to do that again the next year. There is no, we're going to run this business up to a $10 million business and spike the ball. We've done it. We win. High five. We're done. Let's sell out. That is a very narrow-minded way of looking at things. That is a very finite game. That is not something most people want to play with you. You may have that in your head, but I'm telling you, you should get rid of that in your mind. You should say, as long as I have my license, as long as I have my practice, I'm going to have a better year this year than I did last year. I'm going to live a better, I don't know how, I'm 54 years old. I'm going to live a better 54-year-old life this year than I did 53-year-old life last year. I'm going to run a better organization and bring in more people who are winning in life and doing better in life because they're winning and working here with my group than they would had they been working somewhere else. And then I'm going to find a way to bring 3 new people on for next year and grow my business by that margin, by that amount, and have those 3 people winning in life in ways that they never would have if they worked somewhere else. That is your new game. That is your new challenge. How can I bring more people on my team and have a positive effect on their life in such a manner that they're doing so much better in life that they could have never done that somewhere else. That they are so happy with their organization and their people and everyone that they're working alongside that they just come to work every day wanting to give their best and wanting to contribute their most to their patients for the patient care experience. That is your infinite game. It never ends. It only gets better. It's only better and better and better and better is your mission. That is the only goal you have. How can we run a better organization? How can we create greater efficiency, greater productivity, greater quality of care, greater patient care experience, better patient staff experience? At the end of that, when that is being done, a net result that's flowing off of that is brand. Before you know it, people are going to hear your name, hear the name of your business, and they're going to think happy thoughts. They're going to think positive things about your practice just by seeing the name, just by seeing the logo. That's branding. When we had Cypress Creek Therapy, it was Cypress Creek Therapy, your family-friendly practice. I remember being in a grocery store line. This is a true story. I was in a grocery store line. It was giant grocery store. I remember being the third person in line. I had my packages with me. I was wearing my Cypress Creek polo shirt, but I had my groceries and they're up against my shirt and it was covering my name and the logo, whatever. And these two Medicare-aged women were in front of me. They had just met in line and they were talking. They were waiting to cash out, I guess. And one of the women said, yeah, I'm just always rushing out to get food for my husband. He had a total hip replacement and I need to get him out for therapy. So, I had a conversation was struck like that, something about the food she was getting for him, and he's going to need to get therapy. The woman in front says, oh, if you're looking for a therapy place here in Severna Park, you got to go to Cypress Creek Therapy. They're the best in town. Like, everybody knows that. Like, all the doctors will send there, and the staff there is so nice and friendly. And more than anything, nowadays, that means more than anything. I mean, almost every therapist is good at what they do, but if you can go in a place where you feel like you're at home, it literally feels like Cheers in there. This whole conversation's happening. Here I am, the owner of that clinic, and I'm standing in line, and the woman's like, oh, okay, do you have their number? And I'm about to go, and I'm like, no, I'm not going to say anything. And the woman's like, oh, yes, I have the card right here. I keep it on me. And she took it out, and the woman literally is writing it down. I'm thinking, like, take a picture, take a picture, take a picture. But she's literally writing it out, and she wrote it down. And I stood there in silence the entire time, and we went through the line, and I went back and had a huge staff meeting with my staff and said, this was a major milestone of accomplishment. This was like one of my greatest dreams, was to be a silent partner on a silent fly on a wall and listen to people in our community rave about our practice as the number one practice, and you couldn't possibly imagine sending anyone anywhere else. How does that sound to you? How do you feel about that? How would you like to be that practice owner standing in that line? That's an infinite game. I just wanted to be better next year than I was this year, and I want to find ways to do that for the betterment of those around me, not for me. I will be taken care of as a byproduct of me putting my energies and efforts externally, outwardly in the life of others. So there you go, guys. I hope you enjoy this idea of an infinite game, and you find ways to do that by enhancing and enriching those around you for the optimal experience for them. Not for you, but for them. You will win along with the ride.